We just uncovered a really nasty and dark secret that Max B has been hiding for about 10 years now.
Because the rat gonna take the state gonna make them take the plea and say, if you get a plea, but you gotta tell on your co-defendants. Y'all don't have that. There's none of that on the stand. No bigger barrel on no stand. No tape, complete police station statements. None of that. All right? So let's get that right.
Max B is a rat. And before today, there was no proof. But after today, there's no denying that Max B is the worst type of rat. And these court transcripts prove it. Pistol P and other New York OGs who are supposed to be anti-rats have known for a while now that Max B is an informant, and they've not only harbored Max B, but they've utilized their platforms to lie for Max B and cover up his tracks. By the way, I'm not surprised at all. All these old heads are hypocrites, but it was really disheartening when I seen Pistol P and his co-hosts go on their platform to vouch for Max B, go out of their way to lie for Max B when they said that Max B took a plea deal and he only admitted to his role in the situation, so hence Max B is not a snitch.
We love you, you know what I'm saying? And we appreciate that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's very important for the viewers, you know what I'm saying? For those out there that don't know Max B and they hear, you know how sound travels. You feel me, Tom?
These old heads be politicking. When I seen Pistol Pete terrified to even say rat accusations when asking a question, I thought, hold on, bruh. This ain't the Pistol Pete I know. Now, usually Wack would be the only old head I trust to be exposing these rats. But right now, Wack 100 is like taking a break. He's working on his network called Nothing But Content. He got a show coming out with Blueface called Fresh Out of Love. Another show with 607 Unc. Wack is busy. So I guess I got to do it because, you know, I guess technically I'm also an exposer.
So and I want to add to that, right? Because so what you have when an individual takes a plea is called plea allocution. And a plea allocution, what happens is the court will ask you questions to make sure that you're clear and that you're certain that you would like to take the plea that's being offered to you by the government and the judge, right? So the court, they'll state facts of the case, and you either say yes or no. By accepting the plea, you're saying that I'm guilty and I accept responsibility for the part that I played.
That's just a flat out lie. What Max B did is much more than just own up to his role in the situation. What Max B actually did is textbook snitching, but they was comfortable telling these lies on these podcasts because they thought nobody would ever uncover the real. Nobody would ever find the documents. But I have 27 pages of transcripts to prove that Max B is a rat. By January of 2007, Max B, his brother Pooh Sims, and a woman he was pimping out called Gina Conway was all sitting in jail facing murder conspiracy charges. Gina took a plea deal before their trial in 2009, and she agreed to testify against Max B and his brother Pooh Sims. Gina agreed to testify once she learned that Max B was the one who actually told on her when she was on the run from the police in 2006.
How did they actually find you?
Well, I was going to Sin City actually because I wanted to meet Max there because I needed some money, and he knew I was coming there, and it was said that he helped the police catch me. That's what one of the detectives said, and on the stand.
Oh, so Max knew that you were coming to Sin City, and a detective actually said that Max contacted the police and told them where you're going to be in order for you to be arrested?
Yes.
Her account of Max B telling on her before he even got arrested has already been out here, but the public has taken Max B's side, to be honest. One user says a cop told her Max B told on her, LL, easiest trick in the book. The detective says, laughing my A off. Essentially, folks believe that if it comes from a cop or a detective, it's not credible at all whatsoever, which is why Max B telling on her has nothing to do with this current story in this video. We're actually documenting Max B telling on his brother Pooh Sims. And what we got, the evidence that we have, is not detective says. It's 4K evidence of Max B's own words of him snitching and ratting on his own brother. Gina and Max B was in a relationship, but he was pimping her out. So she was hanging out with random dudes on a daily basis. On one of these days, she was hanging out with a guy called Alan Plowden, who had a lot of money. He took her shopping that day, had $30,000 in cash to impress her. They went to a hotel. Now, Gina finessed the key for the hotel room and left Allen at the hotel and link up with Max B. Gina, being this brain dead bimbo, told Max B that this trick who just took her shopping had $30,000 in his hotel room, and she had the keys to the hotel room. Max B, being a greasy, dirty New Yorker, told his brother Pooh Sims about what was going on and told him to go back to the hotel room with Gina and rob the trick Allen of the $30,000. Pooh Sims brought a gun with him, well, obviously, but the robbery that was supposed to be easy, clean, neat, get in, get out, actually got really complicated and turned into a murder conspiracy when the dude Allen friend walked in the room while the robbery was taking place.
And he was like basically like looking for the money, and then he told the guy to call his friend up that was in the room downstairs, and his friend came upstairs. And then basically like when he came upstairs, Kelvin shot him in the head. He shot him right here. And in his ear, I think.
It's really being understated how stupid this group of criminals are. They didn't even make away with the target. They left before finding the $30,000. When the police got to the scene, they found $30,000 at the scene. Due to how sloppy this job was, Max B and Pooh Sims was ultimately found guilty. Max B was sentenced to 75 years in prison for his role in his murder conspiracy. Pooh Sims was sentenced to life. Gina was sentenced to 15 years, and she was denied a shorter sentence even after cooperation. So she cooperated, testified, did everything she's supposed to do, and she got 15 years. The person who took the stand and cooperated was denied a shorter sentence and was sent to prison for 15 years. But magically, 11 years into Max B's 75-year sentence, he was brought back to court and had his time shortened from 75 to 20 years. Only 5 years more than a person who supposedly took the stand and cooperated, which logically makes no sense. But Max B will call into Vlad TV after getting his sentence reduced from 75 years to 20 years with a creative explanation as to how this was possible without cooperating and snitching.
Okay, well, we don't have much time, so I just want to get caught up with you real quick. First and foremost, July of last year, because originally you were sentenced to 75 years, but then last July you said you got reduced to 20 years and then to 12 years. So explain.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm eligible for my full minimum status in February, so I'll most likely be, by the end of next year, I'll be like in halfway house. That's like worst case scenario, halfway house, end of the next year. So that's why I said that. But it's going down. I'm here. I'm on my way. I done gave my shit back. I done did for the most part. So right now I'm just finding it out, get ready. I'm almost there. It's almost over. So,
okay, so
I can only say that but so much, but it's actually true this time. So you'll be good.
Okay, so explain to everyone how you go from 75 to 12.
Well, I went back on post-conviction. My sentence was vacated for 35 years, so I got back on. My first appeal was denied. Then when I went back on post-conviction, I found ineffective assistance against my lawyer. And before the case came back before the judge made an actual decision or decided to turn the whole case over, I pleaded out. I couldn't go through. I couldn't go through waiting for another decision on the courts, or another letdown. So I took 20. So that with my time in, and once I get full minimum, I'll be down to about 12 and a half years.
All that beating around the bush you just heard is nonsense. Max B went from 75 years to 20 years because he went into that courtroom and ratted and told and threw his brother under the bus and told the court his brother did some things that his brother is currently saying he didn't do.
Somebody that feel like I'm coming out of nowhere with the stuff that I'm saying, all you got to do is holler at me. I got the paperwork, I got letters, I got everything to support what I'm saying. That Max B cooperated. French Montana, no, and he condoning it. Cameron, no, he condoning it. Jim Jones was mentioned in this whole situation. So I had to send the paperwork to Jim Jones to put him on point. Holla at me.
Max B's initial appeal to overturn the conviction was denied, but Max B was able to get back into court on a technicality. So Max B had a lawyer called Gerald Saluti. He's on your right. Now, Gerald Saluti was Max B's criminal defense lawyer and his entertainment lawyer. The judges ultimately ruled that Max B deserved a new trial because Gerald, being his entertainment lawyer and his defense attorney, is a conflict of interest, and they believe that Gerald gave Max B bad legal advice on purpose to protect his own interest. So Max B came to court with his new lawyers and told the judge, hey, listen, he advised me to decline the 10-year plea deal and take this case to trial, which ultimately got me 75 years. I would have taken a 10-year plea deal, but he told me not to. I believe he told me not to, and he lied to me because he wanted me to go on tour and make him money. I couldn't go on tour if I took a 10-year plea deal. So he was protecting his own self-interest when he was supposed to be working on my behalf. The court ruled that that was pretty valid and Max B should get a new trial. However, the prosecutors offered Max B a deal. Now, Max B was presented with two options here. Take the new trial, keep it solid, and prove you're innocent if you're innocent, or take the plea deal, rat out on all your co-defendants, make it impossible for them to ever get out of jail, and then, we'll give you 20 years and then you get out, after time served, et cetera, et cetera. Max B decided he was not going to go to trial. He was going to take the easier route, which is take the plea deal and snitch on his co-defendants to get out. His brother, Pooh Sims, his co-defendant, is still maintaining his innocence. Pooh Sims is currently in the process of filing another appeal. Pooh Sims is still saying he didn't do none of this. So when Max B took this plea deal, went to court, and called his brother a murderer, there's no getting out of this. The black and white shows Max B is a rat. And I got the black and white for you guys. Let's get into it.
Let's see, the bad guys knocked us out and stole our wood. How dare you? Wait, you can dismantle fences to defend against...
When Max B went back to court for his PCR, Max B agreed that he would just plead guilty to one count of aggravated manslaughter instead of having to redo the process again and potentially going back to trial. He was going to plead guilty to one count of aggravated manslaughter. In exchange, the state had agreed that they will vacate the previous jury verdict in his last sentence, giving room for the judge to resentence Max B. That gave the judge legal grounds to vacate Max B's 75-year sentence and then resentence him to 20 years. However, Max B still had to come to court and admit to a lot. The judge alerted Max B they were going to be asking him some questions about the offense. First, I'm going to have you go back to the day before that, September the 21st of 2006. On or about that day, did you have a conversation with two of the people that you're charged in this indictment, Gina Marie Conway and Calvin Lederman? Max B says, yes, I did. He already telling, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, it gets worse. He's telling in this regard because Pooh Sims, a.k.a. Calvin Lederman, told the court in his appeal he has nothing to do with this. He was never involved. He was not present. He don't know what's going on. Max B would further implicate his brother in this murder conspiracy by telling the court that him and Calvin in particular had an agreement that Calvin was going to go into the state of New Jersey because he was in New York and couldn't go with Gina. Is that correct? He says yes. Mr. Calvin was going to go over to the state of New Jersey, and he along with Gina Conway were going to try to steal money from a couple of individuals. He says yes. Now, the individuals that we're talking about are the victims, David Taylor and Alan Plowden. Is that correct? Max B says yes. Max B would tell the court that they targeted David Taylor and Alan Plowden because they will routinely have large amount of cash in their possession. He would also say that they were targeted specifically for theft by himself, Calvin, and Gina Conway. This is when the ratting really get crucial. The court tells Max B, all right, so when you and Mr. Calvin conspired that Mr. Calvin will go to New Jersey to try to steal money from these men, you have that in your head that one or both of these guys might have a gun. Is that correct? Max B says yes. And was there, in fact, a conversation between yourself and your brother about your brother also bringing with him a gun in the event one or both of these intended victims had guns themselves? Did you, in fact, talk about that? Max B says, yes, Calvin said I wasn't there. I don't know what's going on. They said, all right. And was it your understanding that Calvin was going to have a handgun with him when he went over to New Jersey along with Gina Conway to try to steal these men's money? He says, yes. Now, you also understood you have to explain to me that although there was no plan to shoot either of these men, that if there was a confrontation between armed people, you knew your brother would use that gun if he had to. Is that correct? He said, yes. Max, that's your brother, cuz. Have mercy, man. Max, that's your brother, bro. Don't do that to don't do this, Max. And if it was also understood by you that if your brother did in fact use the gun against one or both of these men, they'd probably get killed. Is that correct? He says, yes. And as it turned out, your brother did in fact, in the course of trying to steal money from David Taylor, use the gun against them. Is that correct? Max B says, yes. He shot and killed him. Is that correct? Max B says, yes. Oh! It was also understood by you that if your brother did in fact use that gun against one or both of these men, they'd probably get killed. Is that right? Max B says yes. And as it turned out, your brother did in fact, in the course of trying to steal money from David Taylor, use the gun against them. Is that correct? Max B says yes. He shot and he killed him. Is that correct? Max B says yes. This is telling Max B's a rat. The only reason I even care why I'm invested in this, y'all know I'm pro rats. I love the rats, okay? But what I don't like is somebody who is a rat but then try to shame other rats and try to present themselves as if they're not. No, I don't like that, okay? And I don't like hypocrisy. I don't like hypocrites, right? I don't like these quote-unquote anti-rats, New York old heads, right, who move around as if they're so anti-rats, but then they're co-signing rats. It doesn't make sense to me at all right? Now, I'll send the black and white and the paperwork to anybody who wants it, okay? But I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of politics. Some people won't cover this because they don't wanna burn their relationship with Max B, but this is telling, man. Let me know in the comment section, is this telling from your perspective? All right, and if you're still watching this video and you wanna watch another good video, then click on this